Should we get started? Well, we have a nice little audience here, and I'm Senator Liu from the 21st Senate District, and I welcome all of you here today. November is a very special month because we are announcing that at the first month, this is the first time actually, that California Runaway and Homeless Youth Month. Is that a mouthful? I think it is. But homeless youth in our society are largely overlooked, and our state has no organized approach to address their needs, leaving them invisible and underserved. So the governor's 10-year chronic homelessness action plan is silent on homeless youth. No state agency or coordinating council has responsibility for determining the number of youth who are homeless, planning for their needs, or intervening to prevent them from ending up on the street. So my mission is to shine a light on the needs of countless young people without homes. And I plan to introduce legislation to reduce the number of California's unaccompanied homeless youth. And now I'm pleased to present a resolution honoring the California Homeless Youth Project and the California Coalition for Youth. And together with other community-based organizations and providers, they are co-sponsoring California's first Runaway and Homeless Youth Action Month. And so please join me in applauding them in their efforts. Here is Ginny Puddlefoot and Heather Deering.
Thank you, Senator.
This is for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this is yours. Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't you come on both sides of me so they can get pictures? And he's tall enough to
Yeah.
stand behind me, so I don't stand in his way. Okay. We will hear from three. Oh, actually, we just have Kaishan here to talk about his experience and to give you an idea about what goes on in his life. And I want to thank him very much for joining us today. And hopefully he'll be part of not only this press conference, but the panel also. Mm-hmm. So we need to hear these stories and see how we can help folks who find themselves in this predicament. So Kaishan, why don't you come forward and talk a little bit about yourself? Should be easy.
My name is Kaishan, and I am a former foster youth from Alameda County, and I've been residing in Sacramento for 4 years now. And firstly, I'd like to thank all of you who came out to give your ear to this issue, because it is a real issue in the community. And personally, I know probably in the hundreds of youth who are homeless, who don't have family support and have to take life into their own hands without the understanding or the skill to live a productive life. So hopefully with this press conference and the actions to follow this press conference, we can come up with something to fix the problem that we're suffering. And thank you. That's it.
Well said. Thank you.
Okay.
Good job.
Anybody have any questions? Yes.
Hi, Sean. This is for you. First off, can you spell your name for me?
Kyshon.
Okay. What were some of the difficulties, if you could describe it for me, of living on the street, and the support that you didn't have if you would have been at home?
Living on the street, well, I mean, sleeping on concrete, really. Services are provided, but sometimes you got to look under a rock to find them. And when you don't have family backing, then you don't have the network that a child coming into adulthood should have to become a productive citizen. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Where are you now?
Where am I now? I'm still homeless.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. And is there? I mean, where are you getting yourself? Who keeps you going? Are you living in a shelter? What services do you take advantage of?
Pretty much, I do what probably about 99% of people my age. They just go from house to house, friend's house to friend's house. And when I can't do that, Loaves and Fishes is where I go to eat or to get clean and stuff.
How old are you?
19.
How long have you been homeless or in this situation?
Since February.
It's a tough story.
What is your action plan specifically going to do?
Well, we're going to, first of all, I really thank you for joining us today. And we have not laid out a concrete plan because you're going to hear a panel of folks this afternoon, if you stay, to try to come up with an action plan. And so my purpose is to bring this situation to light to the public. It's not just, most of us are blind-eyed anyways to homelessness. We don't have a long-term strategy. I mean, there are nonprofits who really try to deal with the day-to-day, but to provide housing and transportation and job opportunities, etc., education opportunities, it's really tough when you don't have resources. And so the purpose of it is to bring this issue to light. And, in Keyshawn's, estimation, there are a couple of hundred people, kids, who are without this resource, homeless, living on the streets, under highway passes or whatever, or, finds himself, as you say, hopping from, friends to friends' homes, and that gets old. It never feels grounded. If any of you ever tried that kind of livelihood, you just never, sleeping on people's sofas is not exactly a way to live. I mean, I would, and it's interesting for me because as a former chair of higher education, that's the kind of experience that even some of our kids at universities are experiencing because they can't afford housing. So it's a phenomena, that we have so many young people without the kind of basic support, and we have passed laws for foster youth for emancipated foster youth to continue to get services and information. Well, we need to not only do that here, but we need to kind of extend a bridge for those who really don't have foster parents and a place to live. So it's not perhaps a huge problem, but it's a big problem for anybody who's involved in this system.
So, but I mean, with you're talking about legislation. I mean, eventually, right? Are you talking about targeting young homelessness specifically with, some kind of funding just for them, some kind of programs specifically for them?
I think we need to look at that. Not without the understanding that we have really scarce resources, but maybe there's a way that we can partner. I partner with some folks because I was at a Wells Fargo event yesterday, and we were talking about how government can't do it all, and how businesses have picked up some of the weight by making bigger contributions, philanthropic contributions, and how that nonprofit can fit in as that wedge, the three of us together, partnering together to try to deal with some of the issues that face us, the social issues that face us today. It hasn't gotten any easier, it's gotten worse. But if we don't try to make that effort to try to resolve some of these issues, then actually we're speaking to the kind of society that we've created, aren't we? It seems to me that it's incumbent upon all of us, not just those of us who can have a job and write a check or be here in the legislature or be a nonprofit, etc., do what you do. All of us have a stake in the people who inhabit this community, this state, this nation. So, that's my viewpoint. And a young man like Kaishan here who has many more potentials. He's pretty articulate. He's got lots of potential. Let's see if we can maximize it, give him some opportunities to be successful. And it really starts with some kind of stable living situation. How can you function effectively every night? You don't know where your next meal is coming from or where you're going to bed down for the night.
Do you see the state, though, you're talking about with private or nonprofits and maybe some bigger what about cities and counties? I mean, doesn't it have to be kind of a joint effort
It
between
has,
state and cities?
absolutely. It does have to be a joint effort. It does, and it has to be more coordinated than it has been. I mean, we have had many local efforts. Sacramento is very progressive in this area. So is San Francisco, very progressive. And LA, the city is trying to deal with these issues of homelessness. But this is a particular segment of the population. I mean, not that we negate the bigger population because we find more families now in our in homeless shelters. But it is a societal problem. Just trying to see whether or not there's a voice here at the state level, joining forces with the voices that local governments have to deal with, and see if there are, a stronger partnership with some of the nonprofits who may have better ideas about the needs, and to coordinate those efforts. We can't reinvent the wheel. We can't promise people what we can't pay for, but we can certainly, as people, try to work together to solve an issue, a societal issue that many folks among us are experiencing.
So would you say that after this panel discussion, that's how you're going to be
Gives
coming up with how to
ideas,
draft
right?
legislation?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know how long a process?
Well, I mean, we have you introduce ideas in January, February, and so this gives us, it's November, so this gives us an opportunity to talk to people who are experiencing what's going on, to get some ideas about how we can, fill the gap.
Why did you decide to champion this?
It's I'm an educator. I want better public schools for all of our kids, and it's kind of connecting the dots because I also do work. I chair Human Services in the Senate, but I also chair the there's a women's committee on women and children. What's the name? What's the title? In the criminal justice system. There's a connection between what we do and all these social services, all these public safety issues. There's a huge connection between, and they're all related to education and one's experience. So, for instance, in the criminal justice system, the low-hanging fruit, we have 170,000 folks in our criminal justice system. 10,000 of them are women. Most of the women are in there for nonviolent offenses, mostly drug-related. 65% of those women have kids. I'm from LA County. In LA County, the nearest state prison, aside from Corona, is in the Valley.